Yes, Ravi.
Okay. So we'll just talk a little bit about what is estimation, why do we need to do estimation. I'm pretty sure we are, everyone has an understanding of what estimation is. But we will just anyways walk through how do we do estimation and what and how do we do the prediction of when we are going to complete a particular piece of story, or when can we give a release, etc., right? How do we do that? So as part of estimation process, right, what we do is we never estimate in terms of how long it is going to take, right? So for example, let us say login feature, right? Let us say there is a simple thing of login feature. So there are companies who will basically tell we will take 3 days to complete this, etc., right? 3 days, 2 days, whatever it might be, based on the complexity of the login feature. But when we are doing estimation, right, we never do this. We always estimate based on the complexity of the story. Okay, so
Okay.
what does that essentially means is how complex is the story. Then how do we decide how complex the story is? It is based on, let us say, if the feature just involves doing a simple screen where we display some static data, right? Display some static data, where it's not like some home page or something. It is a simple page where we want to display user details, but not even user details, some small information regarding how to use the application or something like that, right? Where here the complexity of this creating this application itself is, let us say let us say it is small, right? Now let us say we want to basically let me give this as one pointer, right? We basically tell the complexity is 1. Now let us say we want to build a screen where we want to get data from API and display it on the screen, right? Here the let us say there is not too much logic over here. Then we basically consider this as a 2 pointer, where we are telling, okay, this is not as simple as this, but it is little more complex than this, right? But it is not extremely complicated, where there is not major logic and all. We just have to fetch some data from database and show it on the screen, right? It is kind of a 2 pointer estimation, right? Now let us say we have where we basically need to deal with multiple screens, and maybe we need to get data from the API. After that, we need to update some. We need to call another update API, and there is we need to send notification, etc. So there is little more complexity over here. We basically consider this as a 3 pointer, where we are talking about you're working with multiple screens, multiple APIs, and all those things, right? So we consider this as a 3 pointer. That is, this is complex. Definitely, it is more complex than this. Definitely, much more complex than this, etc. Right? So this is kind of 3 pointer. Now. After this, right, if there is a story which is much bigger than this, we should usually not have stories which are 5 pointers, but once in a while there will come 5 pointer stories where you might have to deal with multiple, again, this will be multiple screens, and also the feature is bigger. Say, for example, let us say, if I can give an example for 5 pointer, where we are telling we need to create feed where user can add a feed to the system. When I mean feed, maybe like a Facebook post, right? Let me take a real world example. Facebook post, user can add a Facebook post. Once he adds the Facebook post, he must be able to edit it, delete it, and your Facebook post will basically take multiple kinds of content. It can you can upload image, you can upload video, You can upload simple text, right? So there is a lot of things that we need to do over here. In this case, it is kind of a 5-pointer. Even if this is a 5-pointer, right? Here, usually whenever it is a 5-pointer, right, we usually split it up into multiple stories where we basically tell, okay, add a Facebook post. This could be 3-pointer, right? Where upload image, video and simple text, this will be one story. We basically split this into 3-pointer, right? And then you basically have edit. We basically make it into a 2-pointer because we already have the form and all those things. Only thing we need to do is display this and then update the data in the backend. So this will be a 2-pointer. And then you could basically have a delete feature, which could essentially be a 1-pointer, right? So we usually split up these stories into smaller chunks whenever it is 5-pointer, right? But there are certain times where we cannot avoid 5-pointer story, and we'll have to work on it because you cannot just send one feature to the production. So you might have to do multiple things in order to send it to the production. Even if that is the case, we can still split it into multiple stories, right? Now there could be much bigger stories which will be 7-pointers, which we will not kind of have. At least in our companies, we will never have 7-pointer stories. We maximum have 1-pointer, 2-pointer, 3-pointer, sometimes 5-pointer. We will never get into 7-pointer. Now, if you also take a look at this thing, right? The points, you basically have 1, 2, 3, and then it goes to 5. It never goes to 4. And the reason we skip this 4-pointer is because as the complexity increases, right, it is never linear. When we know that it is a simple story, we can very categorically tell that this is 1-pointer, or it will take 1 day or 2 days to complete it. Whenever it is little more bigger, right, our estimation, maybe there is plus or minus of 5 or 10% over there. When it is a 3-pointer, maybe the estimation there is 15% deviation, 15 to 20% deviation in the overall estimates. As it starts getting higher and higher, right, it is very difficult to estimate it very accurately. So that is why instead of 4, we basically go the Fibonacci series way, where we tell the complexity is not 4, but the complexity is 5, right? After this, the complexity is not 6, but the complexity is 8. After that, the complexity will be 8 plus 5, that will be 13, right? So if you look at it, it proportionally keeps increasing, right? This is the reason we do this is to clearly represent that as the stories get bigger and bigger, your estimation also starts getting bigger. And we have to accommodate for uncertainties because the story is bigger. That essentially means there might be multiple things that we might need to understand. There might be missing information and stuff like that. In order to accommodate this will be 5-pointer and not a 4-pointer, right? So we are basically going to use Fibonacci series, where your story points will be 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. And as I told you, 8 and 13 we will never use it. I have not seen any stories which are 8 and 13 in our company. We basically mostly deal with 1, 2 and 3. Sometimes we deal with 5. This is what your estimation is going to be. So till now, are we clear on whatever we talked about? Do we have any doubts?
No problem.
No.
Okay. So next we are going to use this tool, Scrum Poker Online. This is the tool we are going to use in order to do the estimation. So here it is going to be very simple. Okay. So let me just show you how this thing works. So let us take a simple story. Let us take an example story of Nirok Street only, right? I just had the thing. Okay. So we are basically talking about mobile verification. Let's basically go to mobile verification. This is the story that we need to estimate, right? We will try and understand what the story is. Barka will talk through us what the story is. I know it is pretty straightforward, right? You basically enter your mobile number You click on get OTP, you will receive an OTP. Then we need to enter the OTP. I think that screen is kind of missing. Enter the OTP screen.
No, it's above. Upper above.
Okay, ऊपर है क्या?
Right inside, yeah,
ठीक
here.
हाँ. So you basically enter the OTP and then click on proceed. This is the story. So if you have any doubts or question, you can ask Barka. She will clarify the doubts and questions. Once we do that, we will ask everyone to estimate, right? So go ahead and estimate right now. Let us say I'm going to put 2-pointer for this. Abhinav, go ahead and estimate something. Just put random number. One. Abhinav, you put 1. Hardi, you put 3. Asif, you put 2. Okay. Now, the reason we do this is we do not want to have biases from everyone. So when you estimate, right, we actually don't showcase what the estimations are. Once everyone has completed the estimation, then we showcase this. Now we will basically see it is 1, 2, 2, 3. And then we basically take either the average or we basically take the lowest or the highest. So that depends on whether everyone thinks it is actually complex. If it is complex, then we will ask Hardi, why do you think it is a 3-pointer? If she tells, okay, these are the additional items that we need to consider, let us say maybe I missed out on few points. Hardi basically figured out, okay, there are additional scenarios that needs to be handled. That is why it is a 3-pointer. Then we basically go with 3-pointer. Let us say Abhinav told 1-pointer. Maybe there is already a component which basically does that. So Abhinav basically is telling that we can reuse that. That is why it is not a 2-pointer, it is a 1-pointer, right? So we will just have this discussion and we will take one of the story point and we will assign it to the story. Once the story is assigned, I will delete the estimates and then we will go to the next story. And similarly, we will Barka will explain the story. If you have any doubts, you basically ask those questions. Barka will clarify those doubts. You guys estimate, and based on the estimates, we will either take the average, the top estimate, lower estimate, and we will do it. And as I told you, right, we will stick to the estimate 1, 2, 3, 5 mostly. We can use 0.5 whether if it is extremely small task, we can probably use this, but usually it is 1, 2, 3 and 5. Are we clear on this right now, guys? How to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Praveen.
Okay. So I'll stop the recording. If do you guys have any doubts till now?
No, Praveen.
No.